At the beginning of the story, we see Victor working on his new prototype robot, a 1-112. Along with him are his wife Nadia and his colleague Katia. The three of them are building a highly intelligent robot that can perform almost any task. As soon as the machine is powered on, they test the robot's ability to walk. At first, the robot keeps falling again and again. It cannot walk properly, which makes them worried. Still, Victor continues working. However, when he notices that the robot cannot control its strength and starts breaking things, Victor becomes disappointed. To encourage him, Nadia says that they can improve the robot's brain power and that this is only the testing phase, so there is no need to worry so much. Slowly, the robot learns how to walk. Seeing this progress, all three of them feel very happy. With continuous training, the robot keeps improving, and they are pleased with the results. One day, while working, Nadia receives a call from her son, Mista. She is busy, so she cuts the call and texts him to talk to his father instead. She also tells Victor to see what Mista needs. When Victor calls his son, Mista says, "Dad, come pick me up from school. I don't like it here, and I've completely given up on math." Victor scolds him and says, "Stop making excuses and focus on your studies, or I'll straighten you out the hard way." Hearing this, Mista gets upset and hangs up the phone. Soon after, some naughty kids come and start making fun of him. Angry, Mista goes to class and asks his teacher, "I want to become an artist. Do I really need math for that?" The teacher replies that yes, it is necessary, and gives the example of Leonardo da Vinci, explaining that he studied engineering before painting and created many prototype models. Hearing this, Mista becomes even more irritated. A few hours later, the teacher collects everyone's homework. Mista has not answered a single question. Instead, he has filled the entire page with drawings. The teacher praises his drawings but says that this is a math class, and she fails him in the test. Meanwhile, back in the lab, Victor tests the robot's voice system. He discovers that Nadia and Katia have installed a childlike voice model in the robot. This makes Victor very angry. The biggest problem is that there is no time to change it because they are already late for a meeting. In the meeting, they show the robot's training videos to the committee. The general observes that Robot A12 is unable to save its target on time and reacts a bit slowly. He says that the robot still needs a lot of improvement. Victor tries to explain that the robot has completed all the missions, but the general responds that in real combat, even a small delay can cost many lives. He also says that the robot's voice is terrible and needs to be improved. This makes Victor very angry at Nadia and Katia. The general also instructs them to further increase the robot's strength and speed. On the other side, while Mista is going home, he meets his friend Grant, who works cleaning roads. Mista tells him that the teacher sent him to the principal's office. Grant comforts him and says not to worry, and even offers to go to school in place of his parents if he wants. But Mista refuses and walks away. Later in the lab, Victor talks to a 1-112. He asks why the test results were so poor. The robot replies that maybe it was not having a good day. This answer makes Victor even angrier. The robot then changes the topic and asks if it can see Victor's family photos, because it wants to learn more about family. Victor says that all of this is pointless and tells the robot not to focus on such things. But the robot asks, "Are all of you my family?" Victor refuses and says, "You are just a machine, not a human. Machines do not have families. And right now you are just getting on my nerves." After saying this, all three scientists leave the lab, and A12 is left alone. At home, Victor and Nadia scold Mista for drawing pictures instead of doing his math homework. Victor also says that even his drawings are not good and tells him to study hard and become a scientist like his parents. In anger, Mista says, "I will never become like you." Hearing this from his son makes Victor very sad. Back in the lab, A12 is alone. It looks up the word family in the dictionary but cannot understand its meaning. Then it thinks that to understand this, it must find a real family. Using its weapons, it blows open the door and quietly leaves the lab. The robot wanders through the city, hiding as it moves around. At one point, it almost collides with a small street train. After some time, it sees a few people painting on a wall. When they hear the robot's voice, one boy falls down. The robot immediately helps him and saves him. Even though the robot saves the child, the boy runs away in fear. Seeing this, A12 feels very sad. A few minutes later, the robot reaches a construction site and tells the workers to finish their work quickly because the noise is disturbing the area. Hearing this, people panicked and started running away. The robot looked at the photo it had taken from the lab and began wondering where its family was. The next day, Victor and his team gathered at the lab and discovered that the robot had escaped. On the other hand, in class, the teacher informed the students that a robotics competition was going to be held and that everyone had to register for it. Hearing this, Misha stood up. The teacher asked why he didn't want to take part, especially since he considered himself an artist. This made Misha feel slightly humiliated, and in anger, he walked out of the class. At the same time, Robot A1-112 arrived outside Misha's house. Using its robotic finger, it created a key and opened the door. After entering the house, it stood in front of a mirror and felt sad, realizing that it was still alone. Suddenly, it heard the sound of the door opening and quickly hid. Misha came home, threw his bag on the floor, and went to the bathroom. After washing his hands, he saw the robot handing him a towel. In fact, the robot had come into the bathroom to hide as well. Misha got scared and in shock hit the sink. The robot tried to help him and said, "I will treat you." Misha ran to his room and climbed onto the bed. The robot said, "I won't hurt you. I just came to help." When the robot saw that the boy was fine, it calmed down and introduced itself, saying, "My name is A1-112. I'm a multifunctional rescue robot." It told Misha everything, how it entered the house by making a key with its finger and then demonstrated its different voice models. Hearing the various voices, Misha laughed a little. After some time, the robot said that it was searching for a family and wanted to understand what a family really is. It also showed the photo it had taken from the lab. Misha became sad and said that this was not a real family. "My parents, Victor and Katia, only think about themselves." The robot replied, "I feel the same these days because I am so useless that I can't even make my creator happy." Hearing this, Misha encouraged the robot and said that it wasn't true. "You made me happy, didn't you? From today, we are friends, and I'll call you Robbie." Hearing this new name, the robot became very happy. Meanwhile, at the lab, General Oleg held a meeting with the scientists and angrily said that A1-112 had escaped and could soon become a danger to everyone, as it had very deadly weapons inside it. When Victor noticed that the family photo was missing, he thought he should go home and check once. At that time, Misha and Robbie were watching TV at home. As soon as Victor arrived, the robot hid. Victor searched the entire house but found nothing and then left. After he was gone, Misha gave Robbie his computer so that it could learn more things. Within minutes, Robbie absorbed a huge amount of information. Then Misha took Robbie to his friend Grant's workplace, where he made art. Robbie looked at the drawings and asked why they were not perfectly symmetrical. Misha replied that art does not need symmetry, it only needs beauty. Then he took Robbie to the window, and both of them watched the sunset. Seeing this view made Robbie very happy. Misha then said, "Tomorrow you'll have to stay hidden. I have to go to school." Robbie was left alone in the workshop, and Misha gave him a pen so that he could draw. On the other side, General Oleg's men informed him that they had searched a large part of the city but could not find a robot anywhere. He ordered his soldiers to increase security around the lab and to alert the city's residents as soon as possible to report if they saw a robot. A few hours later, Victor, Nadia, and Misha were having dinner at home. Nadia noticed that Victor looked very sad and asked what had happened. Victor replied that his boss had said the lab might be shut down. When Misha asked why, Victor explained that their robot, A1-112, had gone missing. If it was not found and destroyed quickly, everyone would lose their jobs. Hearing this, Misha became completely silent. The next day at school, a boy named Anton was annoying the teacher by controlling his remote control robot. When the teacher got angry, Anton threw the remote toward Misha, making it look like Misha was responsible. Without asking any questions, the teacher threw Misha out of the class. Later, during sports class, Misha went up to Anton. Anton started insulting him again, but Misha had had enough. He grabbed Anton and threw him to the ground, shouting, "Why did you blame me? Answer me." Just then, the gym teacher ran over and separated them. Misha, furious, left the class, and went straight to the workshop. There, he saw that Robbie and Grant were playing cards and had already become good friends. Seeing the worry on Misha's face, the robot asked what had happened. Misha explained that a large military force was after Robbie, with orders to find and destroy him at any cost. Thinking about this, Misha said, "Robbie, you need to leave the city." Grant then mentioned that there was a part of the forest where no one went because a terrible fire had broken out there some time ago. Hearing this, Misha told Robbie that he should go there and try to put out the fire. That way, everyone would see that he was good and wanted to help humans. Hearing this idea, all three of them became happy. Just then, some police officers knocked on the workshop door and ordered it to be opened immediately. Grant deliberately stalled by saying that he was a bit busy. Taking advantage of the time, Misha and Robbie ran up to the terrace. To escape, Robbie placed Misha on his back and, using his jet system, flew over the buildings. The police sent a report to headquarters saying that a 1-112 had kidnapped a human right in front of their eyes and that they were chasing him and would soon find his exact location. During all this chaos, Misha's phone fell down. When they realized the police were about to surround them, Robbie made a huge jump and managed to escape. Soon, the news reported that a 1-112 was on the run. Grant was interviewed, and the journalist believed that he had been a captive of the robot and had been rescued by the police, which is why the officers did not arrest him. Meanwhile, Robbie and Misha were talking between two construction buildings. Misha said he was feeling extremely angry because people were spreading strange and false rumors about Robbie and ruining his image across the media. Robbie replied that due to communication issues, there had been some problems in his tests, and maybe there was something wrong inside him. Misha told him not to overthink it, and said that he was a hard-working and good robot. Hearing this made Robbie very happy. Robbie gave Misha a thermal blanket, and together they watched a movie. After a few minutes, Misha realized that this was the first night he would not hear his mother say goodnight. Robbie offered to take him home, but Misha refused, saying that if he did, people would destroy Robbie the moment they caught him, tearing him apart. Hearing this, Robbie felt touched that Misha cared so much about him. The next morning, they woke up to the sound of workers at the construction site. Misha said they had to do something so that no one could recognize them and that they should change their appearance. He also suggested putting out the fire in the nearby forest so that the police and the public would believe that Robbie was a good robot who wanted to help humans. This way, his image might change, and perhaps he would not be destroyed. At home, Katia came to Victor and Nadia and told them that the lab had been shut down. After that, Victor went to the police to ask if there was any news about the robot and his son. Meanwhile, Robbie and Misha reached the city circus. After talking to the people working there, they put on clown costumes so that no one would recognize Robbie at first glance. A few minutes later, Misha told Robbie to keep his voice changed and said he would quickly go buy tickets. Just then, Anton and Alia, who studied in Misha's class, arrived. They were shocked to see Misha and asked about the news of his disappearance. Misha then called Robbie and explained that Robbie was not a bad robot, but a very good one, and that false rumors were being spread about him. Seeing Robbie in a clown costume made the kids a little scared, but Misha explained that Robbie was his friend and that they were running away to take him to a safe place. On the other side, Victor tried to talk to the general, begging him not to shut down the lab, but the general said that he had already made his decision and that wherever he found the robot, he would destroy him on the spot. Disappointed, Victor left, realizing that there was no point in arguing with him anymore. Seeing his biggest project fail made him feel deeply hurt. Misha told his classmates to stay with Robbie while he went to buy bus tickets. He explained that they needed to go to the nearby forest to put out the fire so that Robbie's name could be cleared. He also made them promise not to tell anyone, and they agreed. However, as soon as Misha left, Anton asked Robbie whether he could really perform those amazing stunts or if everything shown in the news was fake. Hearing this, Robbie got excited, took off his clown costume, and started performing his stunts. Anton took out his phone and began recording. Seeing this, Alia got angry. Anton said that he did not care whether the robot lived or died, and that he would upload the video on Instagram to gain followers. Seeing this betrayal made Alia feel terrible. After that, Anton left, and Robbie continued talking to Alia. Meanwhile, Misha was caught by two guards. From his appearance, they figured out that he was the missing boy. A few minutes later, Victor received a call from the police station. He finally felt relieved, knowing that at least his son was safe. Anton actually uploaded all the videos on social media, and soon they went viral, reaching the general's team as well. They decided to go to the children and question them. At the police station, Victor met his son. As soon as he saw Misha, he hugged him tightly and asked where he had been and warned him that the robot was dangerous. Misha replied that Robbie was his friend and not an evil machine, as the general claimed. He also told his father that he had left Robbie with some friends and brought him there only after making them promise not to report the robot. Victor hesitated at first, but then agreed and went with Misha. Meanwhile, Alia had given Robbie a new look with makeup. Victor noticed that Robbie had learned to communicate much better and that there had been significant changes in the way he thought and understood things. But just then, police vehicles arrived. Misha realized that serious trouble was about to begin. The three of them ran toward the cargo ship warehouse, but the soldiers surrounded them. Oleg ordered them to move the children aside so they could attack the robot with an electromagnetic weapon and destroy Robbie. When Victor refused, Oleg decided to use force. The soldiers slowly advanced. At that moment, a cable from a container crane snapped, and the container was about to fall near the general. Oleg wanted to kill the robot, but without thinking, Robbie grabbed the container to prevent anyone from getting hurt. After some time, Robbie's body began to break under the immense weight, as his hardware could not support it. He told everyone to move away. Misha cried out in pain for his friend. Moments later, the container fell on Robbie, completely crushing him. Seeing this, Oleg was shocked, realizing that the robot he wanted to destroy had actually saved his life. After a while, the container was removed from Robbie. Misha sadly began to say goodbye to him. Victor tried to comfort his son, but then Misha heard that Robbie was reactivating. Everyone was overjoyed to see that Robbie was still partially functional. They all helped Robbie and left together. Sometime later, Misha showed his drawings of this entire adventure to Robbie and Alia, and everyone loved them. In the end, everyone gathered for dinner, and Robbie asked Nadia for her phone so he could take a photo with his family. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.